After a grueling divorce, Emma decided to take a much needed break and rent a secluded lake house she found online. The photo showed a rustic, cozy home surrounded by woods with a dock leading out to the glassy lake. It seemed perfect, far from the chaos of her life. She arrived on a chilly autumn evening, the wind whispering through the trees as she unpacked. The house was just as advertised, though something about the lake's stillness felt off. It was too quiet, almost unnatural, as if the water was holding its breath. On the first night, Emma sat on the dock with a glass of wine, trying to relax. As the moonlight danced across the water, she noticed something, a faint ripple near the center of the lake. It wasn't a fish or the wind. It moved purposefully, as though something was beneath the surface. She squinted into the darkness, but whatever it was vanished. Shaking off the unease, she returned to the house, locking the door behind her. That night, she dreamed of the lake, the water rising around her as unseen hands pulled her under. The next morning, Emma went for a walk around the lake. The woods were dense, the air crisp and heavy. She paused when she heard voices, faint and melodic, like a song carried on the wind. She followed the sound, drawn deeper into the forest, found nothing. When she returned to the lake's edge, she saw footprints in the mud, barefoot, leading from the water to the shore. They were small, like a child's, but she was alone. That evening, Emma decided to ignore her unease and enjoy the lake. She waded knee deep into the icy water, feeling the sand shift beneath her feet. As she turned to head back to shore, she saw her reflection ripple in the water, and then another face appeared behind hers, pale, bloated with hollow eyes and long dark hair clinging to its face. Emma screamed and stumbled backward, scrambling out of the water. When she looked again, the face was gone, but the lake's surface began to churn violently, as though something beneath it was thrashing to get out. Panicked, Emma drove to the nearest town and asked the locals about the lake. The bartender at the local pub grew quiet and leaned in. "You shouldn't have gone there," he said. He told her about the drowning years ago. A woman and her young daughter had died in the lake under mysterious circumstances. Locals believed the mother had been dragged under by her grief or something darker. "People say you can still hear her," he whispered, crying, calling for her child. "And if she sees you, she might take you." Emma returned to the lake house, too shaken to stay, but unwilling to leave in the middle of the night. She locked every door and window, but sleep wouldn't come. Around 3 a.m., the floorboards creaked. She froze, listening as slow, deliberate footsteps crossed the living room. Her heart pounded as she crept to the door, peeking out to find muddy footprints leading from the dock to her front door. The doorknob jiggled, and then the whispers began soft and pleading. "Please, come back to the water." At dawn, Emma packed her things and bolted for her car, but the engine wouldn't start. Desperate, she ran down the dirt road, but the whispers followed. growing louder, turning into guttural screams. When she looked back, a figure stood on the dock, watching her. The lake water began to rise, flooding toward her unnaturally fast. She tripped, and the water consumed her, cold hands dragging her down as she screamed. Weeks later, the lake house was listed again. The ad was updated to include a new amenity: private dock, unparalleled lake views, perfect for quiet evenings.